You think love excuses everything until one morning you wake up and don't even recognize the man in the mirror. Walk away now before the small things become a life sentence. Before I start, if this video lands on you at the right time, subscribe. Drop where you're watching from in the comments. These warnings reach men everywhere. Now let me walk you through 10 red flags that are not quirks. They're warnings. If she does these, leave, not later, now. 1. She flirts with other men in front of you. When you're sitting across from her at dinner and you notice the way her eyes linger too long on the waiter, or the way her laugh gets just a little bit louder when another man joins the conversation, something inside of you tightens. You tell yourself it's nothing, just her being friendly. You excuse it as harmless. But let's stop for a second. Why would a woman who claims to love you need to flirt openly in front of you? Why does she need that extra attention, that validation, while you're right there giving her yours? I once knew a guy who brushed this off. His girlfriend would bat her eyes at bartenders, touch the arms of random men during conversations, and smile in ways she never smiled at him anymore. He told himself it was just her personality, that she was naturally flirty. Months later, she left him for someone she had been giving that smile to all along. See, flirting in front of you is never innocent. It's not just about jokes or small talk. It's a boundary test. She's checking how much disrespect you're willing to tolerate. And once you show her that you'll accept it, that you'll sit quietly while she entertains another man, you've given silent permission. That permission doesn't stay small. It grows. Today it's flirting. Tomorrow it's something more. Here's the truth. A woman who respects you doesn't scatter her energy around like confetti. She doesn't crave the attention of strangers when the man she loves is sitting right there. She doesn't need her ego fed by others, because when a woman truly values you, her focus is steady. It doesn't drift every time a new face walks into the room. But when she does this, the message is clear. You're not enough to hold my focus. And that message, even if unspoken, cuts into your confidence. It makes you question your worth. It makes you wonder if you're lacking something. And that's the trap. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't brush it off as that's just who she is, because those cracks in the foundation of respect will spread until the whole structure collapses. If she needs the eyes of other men to feel alive, she's not with you because she wants you. She's with you because you're available. A placeholder until the next thing comes along. So here's the decision. You either confront it and walk away now, or you stay and slowly watch your dignity dissolve. And let me tell you, when dignity goes, attraction follows right behind it. Respect is the oxygen of intimacy. Without it, love suffocates. And if she thinks boosting her ego is more important than protecting your dignity, brother, she's already chosen. The only question left is, will you choose yourself? 2. Her phone behavior is secretive and defensive. Pay close attention to how she treats her phone when you're around, because trust me, a phone tells you a lot about a person's life. If every time her screen lights up, she suddenly flips it over, if she tenses the moment you reach for it by accident, or if she guards it like it's holding nuclear codes, then you've got a problem. And don't let anyone gaslight you into thinking you're being paranoid. Here's the thing, privacy is normal. Everyone deserves a bit of space. But secrecy is different. Privacy feels calm, balanced, respectful. Secrecy feels like walls being built right in front of your face. And walls in a relationship are never there to protect love. They're there to hide lies. I remember a friend of mine who used to joke that his girlfriend's phone was like a haunted house. You weren't allowed to go near it unless you wanted to get hurt. Every time he even glanced at it, she'd snatch it away or accuse him of not trusting her. Guess what? Months later, he found out there was another guy in those messages, one she was just friends with. The signs were always there. Ask yourself this simple question. If she truly values you, why would she act like a text message or a harmless call log is something you should never see? Why the panic, the sharp tone, the sudden snatching? Because behind that phone is either another story she doesn't want you to know, or proof that you're not the only man she's entertaining. And when a woman refuses to be open with something as small as her phone, how can you possibly trust her with something as big as your heart, your future, or your peace? A relationship that survives is built on openness, not surveillance, not spying, not scrolling through each other's chats every night. No, that's toxic. but there's a natural ease when two people are honest. If she's proud of you and loyal to you, she won't care if her phone is sitting face up on the table. She won't panic if a notification pops up, because she has nothing to hide. But when every little sound from that phone turns into tension, it's not just about the phone. It's about what she's telling you indirectly. I don't trust you with this part of my life. And if she doesn't trust you, she doesn't respect you either. Don't get caught in the excuse of everyone deserves privacy. That's true. But there's a difference between privacy and defense. If her phone feels like a locked safe you're never allowed to touch, then brother, you're not in a relationship. You're sitting in the waiting room of betrayal. And the longer you wait, the heavier the price becomes. In peace, in dignity, and in self-respect. Don't ignore it. Her phone may be small, but the truth it hides can break your entire life. 3. She refuses to define the relationship. Time is one of the most expensive things you can give someone, and yet some women will gladly take months, even years of your time without ever making it clear where you stand. You go on dates, you spend nights together, you even meet her friends casually, but when the question of what are we comes up, suddenly she freezes. She dodges, she jokes, she changes the subject. That silence is not confusion, it's clarity, just not the clarity you're hoping for. Here's the truth. If a woman truly wants you, she doesn't hesitate to claim you. She won't hide you in the background like some secret she's embarrassed about. I once knew a man who spent nearly 2 years in this so-called undefined stage. She kept telling him, I just don't like labels. I need more time. Meanwhile, she was introducing other guys as friends and keeping her options wide open. By the time he woke up, he realized he was never her partner. He was her placeholder. Don't fall for the fear of commitment excuse. Commitment isn't complicated, it's a choice. And when someone avoids calling you their boyfriend after months together, that's not fear. That's avoidance. She's choosing to enjoy the benefits of your attention, your loyalty, your energy, without ever giving you security in return. Think about this. Relationships aren't built on games. They're built on clarity. If she proudly calls you hers, that clarity becomes your foundation. But if she dances around the label, if she hides you from family, if she doesn't introduce you properly to people in her life, she's already made her decision. She sees you as temporary, and temporary can stretch on for years if you let it. Men often tell themselves patience will fix it. If I give her more time, she'll come around. But patience doesn't change unwillingness. It only wastes your years. You don't need to beg to be claimed. You don't need to sit quietly waiting for her to decide if you're worthy. The uncomfortable truth is this. If after 3 months she still refuses to define things, then she already has. You're not her man. You're her maybe. And a man who knows his worth doesn't wait around for crumbs of recognition. So ask yourself, why are you tolerating uncertainty? Why are you okay being half chosen? A woman who truly wants you will make it obvious. She won't risk losing you to hesitation. She won't hide you like some secret. She'll say it plainly, you're mine. And if she doesn't, walk away, because the longer you stay in limbo, the deeper you sink into a role you never wanted. Don't let her indecision become your prison. 4, she never shows consistent care. Love isn't proven by grand gestures. It's proven in the daily quiet ways someone treats you. When a woman genuinely values you, her care shows up naturally. She asks about your day. She notices when something feels off. She supports you without you having to beg for it. Real care doesn't have to be dramatic. It's steady, consistent, and clear. But when she doesn't truly care, you'll notice the opposite. She rarely asks how you're doing. She seems uninterested in your struggles. She only lifts a finger when there's something in it for her. And suddenly you realize you're not in a relationship, you're in a transaction. I knew a man who lived this. He worked 2 jobs, paid for most of their dates, even helped her with her bills. He thought he was building love through sacrifice, but every time he needed support, she disappeared. When his mother got sick, she barely checked in. When he lost his job, she complained that he wasn't taking her out anymore. He gave everything. She gave nothing. That's not love. That's consumption. The danger of staying in this type of relationship is simple. The longer you give, the more drained you become. You keep trying harder, thinking maybe she'll finally reciprocate. But the more you pour, the emptier you feel, because love isn't a vending machine where you insert effort and expect affection. If her heart isn't there, it doesn't matter how much you give. And here's the sad part. Deep down, you feel it. You notice the imbalance. You feel the emptiness after every interaction. You sense that your care is one-sided, but you silence that voice inside because you're scared of being alone. So you accept the scraps she throws at you, hoping it means more than it really does. But here's the truth. When someone truly loves you, care isn't conditional. It doesn't vanish when it's inconvenient. A woman who values you doesn't need to be begged to show support. She does it because she wants to, because it's natural. So if she never checks on you, never invests back into you, never gives even half of what you're giving, then you need to stop pretending it's love. It's not love, it's use. And a man who values himself doesn't stay in relationships that drain him dry. He recognizes when the scales are unbalanced. He knows that his time, energy, and care are too valuable to waste on someone who only takes. Walk away. Don't keep pouring into a bottomless pit, because at the end of the day, care is the truest measure of connection. If she can't even meet you halfway, she's not choosing you. She's consuming you, and you deserve better. 5. She doesn't keep her word. Words mean nothing until actions back them up. You've probably heard that 1,000 times, but in relationships, it's the absolute truth. Every time she says, "I'll call you," "I'll meet you at this time," or "I'll take care of it," that's a tiny contract. And when someone respects you, they honor that contract, no matter how small it seems. But what if she constantly breaks her promises? What if she always has excuses, always forgets, or simply acts like it's no big deal? That's not just forgetfulness, that's disregard. I knew a man who used to laugh off his girlfriend's broken promises. She would say, "I'll be there at 7," and show up at 9 without explanation. She would promise to support him at events, then never show. At first, he shrugged it off, telling himself she was just busy. But eventually, the pattern became impossible to ignore. Her words were air, and his trust dissolved piece by piece. Here's the thing. Words are the building blocks of trust. If she can't even keep her small promises, how can you expect her to honor the big ones? How can you believe she'll be loyal or that she'll protect your heart when she doesn't even care about showing up when she said she would? The danger is that over time, you stop expecting consistency. You start lowering your standards. You convince yourself that it's not a big deal. But it is a big deal, because the moment you stop expecting her word to mean something, respect dies. Think of it this way. When someone doesn't keep their word, what they're really saying is, your time, your trust, and your needs don't matter to me. And once you accept that treatment, you're training yourself to live without respect. Don't mistake empty promises for effort. A woman who truly values you protects her credibility with you. She knows that consistency is the foundation of intimacy. She follows through not because she has to, but because she wants you to know you matter. If instead you're constantly left waiting, constantly left disappointed, constantly forced to make excuses for her, then face it, she doesn't care enough. Broken promises are not random accidents, they're patterns. And patterns reveal priorities. So ask yourself, do you want to build your life on shaky ground? Do you want to trust someone who proves over and over that her words are meaningless? Or do you want to value yourself enough to walk away? Because in the end, love without trust isn't love at all. And if her word isn't solid, then neither is your relationship. 6. You're never a priority, always the afterthought. People make time for what they care about. That's the rule, plain and simple. When a woman truly values you, she will carve out time, no matter how busy life gets. But if weeks go by and you're always the one waiting, always the one begging for scraps of her attention, then the truth is hard but clear, you're not her priority. I once heard a guy joke, "I feel like I'm dating her schedule, not her." He laughed when he said it, but deep down it was eating him alive. Every plan had to fit around her convenience. Every moment together felt like a favor. And he ignored the fact that what he really was an option, not a priority. This is where many men trap themselves. You convince yourself she's just busy. You excuse it with work, stress, family obligations. But here's the truth. No one is too busy for someone they value. People fight for the things that matter to them. And if she's not fighting for time with you, then you're already seeing where you stand in her life. When you're never a priority, you feel it. You feel like you're competing with her phone, her friends, her hobbies. You feel like you're begging for attention that should come naturally. And it doesn't matter how patient you are. The more you tolerate being pushed aside, the more she learns that you'll always accept it. The pain is subtle but heavy. You start to believe maybe you don't deserve more. You settle for leftover time because it's better than nothing. But every time you accept scraps, your self-respect erodes a little more. Let me be clear. A woman who loves you doesn't need reminders to show up. She doesn't forget to make space for you. She doesn't treat you like a side note. Even in chaos, she will make an effort, not perfection, effort. That effort shows you that you matter. So if she only gives you attention when it's convenient, if she treats you like a backup plan instead of a partner, you need to stop lying to yourself. It's not because she's too busy, it's because she's choosing not to prioritize you. And here's the truth that stings. If you allow yourself to be treated like an option, you'll never be chosen as the priority. You'll stay stuck in the background, waiting, hoping, wasting time you can never get back. A man who values himself doesn't beg for space in someone else's life. He doesn't accept being treated like a convenience. He knows his worth. And when he sees that he's always last on her list, he walks away with his dignity intact, because love isn't about fitting into someone's leftovers. It's about being valued enough to come first. And if she can't do that, don't stay. 7. Double standards. Rules for you, exceptions for her. One of the clearest signs of imbalance in any relationship is when she lives by one set of rules, but expects you to follow another. At first, you might brush it off thinking it's just small stuff. But pay attention, double standards are never small. They're the roots of control. Maybe she goes out with her friends whenever she wants, but if you make plans with your guys, suddenly you're accused of being distant. Maybe she locks her phone like it's a bank vault, but demands that you give her full access to yours. Or maybe she talks to other men casually and calls it innocent fun. But if you so much as reply politely to a female co-worker, she loses her mind. This isn't balance, it's manipulation, and it shows you something vital. She doesn't see you as an equal. She sees herself as above you. I knew a man who lived in this exact trap. His girlfriend would party every weekend, post selfies with random men, and call it just part of her personality. But the moment he stayed late at work and missed one of her calls, she blew up, calling him unreliable. He twisted himself into knots, trying to explain, trying to justify, trying to keep the peace. But the peace was never real. It only existed when she got her way. That's what double standards are really about: power. She gets freedom while you get restrictions. She gets trust while you get suspicion. She gets to bend rules while you're punished for even following them differently. The mistake many men make is thinking they can negotiate this imbalance. You start compromising, bending further, excusing her behavior. But here's the truth. The more you bend, the more she'll demand. Double standards don't shrink with time. They grow. And the longer you accept them, the harder it becomes to stand up for yourself. Healthy relationships are about reciprocity. What's good for her should be good for you. What's unacceptable for her should be unacceptable for you too. If the rules don't apply equally, you're not in a partnership, you're in a hierarchy, and you're not at the top. The sad part is many men don't realize they've signed away their respect until it's too late. They accept being micromanaged, criticized, controlled, while she enjoys her freedom, and by then their confidence is gone. Don't fall into that trap. If she sets rules, she won't follow herself. If she demands loyalty but refuses to give it, if she wants freedom while chaining you down, that's not love. That's domination. And love without equality is nothing but slow suffocation. Don't stick around hoping she'll suddenly become fair. Respect yourself enough to demand fairness from the start. And if she can't give it, walk away. 8. She tears down your confidence with jokes and digs. It often starts so small, you barely notice. A sarcastic comment about your appearance, a playful jab about your job, a little laugh at your expense in front of others. You tell yourself, she's just joking, it's harmless. But over time, those jokes add up, and before you know it, you don't laugh anymore, you flinch. I've seen this happen too many times. One man I knew had big dreams. He wanted to start his own business. Every time he spoke about it, his girlfriend would roll her eyes and say, "You can't even manage your laundry. How will you run a business?" She'd laugh after saying it, expecting him to laugh too. At first, he did, but slowly, those words sank in. A year later, he gave up on the idea completely. Not because it wasn't possible, but because her constant ridicule made him believe he wasn't capable. This is the danger of constant jabs. They eat away at your self-worth until you don't even see yourself clearly anymore. And the cruel part? It's disguised as humor. She'll say, "I'm just teasing," or "don't be so sensitive." But the truth is simple. If the jokes always come at your expense, they're not jokes, they're attacks. Respect isn't optional in a relationship. It's the oxygen that keeps it alive. A woman who loves you doesn't make you the punchline. She doesn't build her confidence by tearing yours apart. She lifts you up. She speaks life into you. She's your supporter, not your critic. When you tolerate constant belittling, something dangerous happens. You start believing her narrative. You accept less. You expect less. And before long, you settle for a version of yourself that's smaller than you're meant to be. That's not love, that's erosion. And let me tell you, the damage doesn't just stop with you. It spills into every part of your life. You stop taking risks, you doubt your decisions, you second guess your value at work, with friends, in every space you enter, all because the person you trusted most planted seeds of doubt that grew into chains. Don't laugh it off anymore. Don't excuse it as harmless teasing. Ask yourself, does her humor build me or break me? Do I walk away from conversations with her feeling lighter or heavier? If the answer is heavier, you already know the truth. A man deserves a partner who speaks with respect, even in private, even when joking. If she can't do that, she's not your partner, she's your critic. And no man should wake up every day to criticism disguised as love. If her words cut more than they heal, walk away. Because once your confidence is gone, everything else, attraction, intimacy, even your identity, goes with it. Don't wait until you're nothing but the shadow of yourself. Leave before her words finish the job. 9. She disrespects your friends or family. You can tell a lot about a woman not just by how she treats you, but by how she treats the people who matter to you. Because here's the reality. Your family, your close friends, they're not just random people. They're part of your identity. They shaped you, stood by you, and helped you become who you are today. So when she mocks them, belittles them, or refuses to spend time with them, understand this. She's not just disrespecting them. She's disrespecting you. I've seen this play out in real life. A friend of mine had a girlfriend who refused to join him at family gatherings. She'd roll her eyes anytime his mum called. She constantly criticized his best friend, calling him a bad influence. At first, he thought she was just being protective, but slowly he realized the pattern. She wasn't protecting him. She was isolating him. And once he drifted from the people who grounded him, she had complete control. See, isolation is a tactic. When she cuts you off from those who care about you, she gains more power. Because when you don't have outside voices reminding you of your worth, you start believing her version of reality. And that reality often makes her the center of everything, while you shrink into the background. Now, let's be fair, not every woman will love your family or your friends. There might be tension, that's normal, but there's a difference between not clicking with someone and outright disrespecting them. A woman who truly values you will at least try. She'll show courtesy even if she doesn't like them because she knows they matter to you. That's what respect looks like. But when she mocks them, avoids them, or forces you to choose between her and them, that's a massive red flag. Because she's not just rejecting them, she's rejecting the man who values them. And if she can't honor what's important to you, she doesn't fully honor you either. Don't let her convince you that it's normal for her to constantly clash with the people closest to you. It's not. Real love doesn't demand that you cut off the ones who stood by you long before she came into your life. Real love makes space, even if it's uncomfortable. So pay attention. If she regularly belittles your friends, criticizes your family, or avoids every opportunity to connect with them, you need to see it for what it is, not preference, but a lack of respect. And respect is non-negotiable, because one day when you really need support and she's succeeded in pulling you away from everyone else, you'll find yourself standing alone. Don't let it get that far. If she can't show basic decency to the people who raised you, supported you, and shaped you, she's showing you exactly how little she values you, and that's your signal to leave. 10. Every argument ends with you apologizing. Here's a dangerous pattern most men don't recognize until it's too late. Somehow, no matter what happens, every fight ends with you apologizing. Even when she's clearly wrong, even when she crossed the line, even when her actions spark the problem, you're the one left saying sorry. At first, it's subtle. She forgets something important, but tells you it's your fault for not reminding her. She lashes out in anger, then accuses you of pushing her buttons. She crosses a boundary, but convinces you your standards are too high. And slowly you start doubting yourself. Was it really my fault? Did I overreact? Maybe I'm the problem. That, my friend, is not miscommunication. That's manipulation. And the name for it is gaslighting. It's one of the most toxic forms of emotional control because it makes you doubt your own memory, your own judgment, even your own sanity. I knew a man who lived under this for years. Every single disagreement ended with him apologizing, even when she had been the one to lie or betray his trust. Eventually, he stopped standing up for himself at all. He lost his voice, his confidence, his peace. And the saddest part, he believed it was all his fault. That's the power of gaslighting. It convinces you that you are broken when, in reality, the relationship is what's broken. The longer you tolerate this, the more you shrink. You stop trusting your own instincts. You begin walking on eggshells, constantly trying not to set her off. And over time, you lose yourself. Not just your confidence, but your identity. Let's be clear, disagreements happen in every relationship. But in a healthy one, both sides take responsibility. Both sides can admit when they're wrong. Both sides can apologize and make amends. That's balance. But if she never admits fault, if she always flips the script until you're the one apologizing, then she's not looking for balance. She's looking for control, and you can't build love on control. Here's the danger. The more you accept this cycle, the more permanent it becomes. Eventually, you'll find yourself apologizing for things you never even did. You'll carry guilt that doesn't belong to you, and that's how manipulation destroys a man from the inside out. So stop and ask yourself, are you always the one apologizing? Do you always feel like the villain in every fight? If the answer is yes, you're not in a relationship, you're in psychological warfare, and the only way out is to leave. Because the longer you stay, the more pieces of yourself you'll lose. No relationship is worth your sanity. No woman is worth your soul. Walk away, save yourself, because the right woman won't make you question your reality. She'll fight beside you, not against you, and that's the love you deserve. So here's the bottom line. These 10 red flags aren't quirks. They aren't harmless mistakes. They're warnings. And if you ignore them, they'll slowly strip away your confidence, your peace, and the man you used to be. Walking away doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong, because a strong man knows when enough is enough. He knows when to protect his dignity, and he knows love should build him up, not break him down. So if you've seen yourself in any of these signs, don't just sit in silence. Tell me in the comments which one hit home the most. Your words might be the wake-up call another man needs. And if this message gave you clarity, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because remember, you don't have to beg for respect. You deserve it, always. A